Okay, today's daf is Yoma, daf Beis, Yoma 2. Starting in Masechta today. The Mishnah says that Shivas Yom Kodem Yom Kippurim, Afrishin Kohen Gadol Mibeis Lishkesh Bar Hedron, Maskin Lo Kohen Acher Tachta, Shema Yerabo Psul. They set aside another Kohen because he might become Tameh. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Af Isha Acheres Maskinin Lo Shema Tamus Ishto. He says, Rabbi Yehuda holds, he argues on the Rabbanon. He says even a separate wife they set up for him in case his wife were to die before he brings the carbon. Shenemar v'chipar ba'ada ba'ad beso, beso zu ishto. Amrulo im kein elo davar sof. The Rabbanon say back to Rabbi Yehuda, you can't worry about setting up another wife for him because if you do, elo davar sof. There'll be no end to this thing. So the Gemara on Daf Yud Gimel, the Gemara explains the machlokas, whether you set up another wife for him. It says Rabbi Yehuda Omer, 5 lines down. Rabbi Yehuda Omer afisha achar maskin lo. Rabbana nami hai chayshi l'shema. The Rabbanan also are choshesh that he might become tamei. They said you set up another Kohen Gadol. So why are they choshesh for the wife might die? Amr Rabbanan tuma shchicha misa lo shchicha. That tuma is common, but his wife dying we're not worried about that. That's not so common. So it seems from over here that that the Rabbanan hold that tuma is not called a miyut she'eno matzoi. It's called a miyut chayshin lemiyuta v'archosh lemiyuta. But someone dying is a miyut she'eno matzoi. They're not choshesh. And Rabbi Yehuda would say that midrabanan over here we set up another wife for him because from chayshin lemiyuta she'eno matzoi. Now, the Gemara says, Shapir Ka, and the Gemara continues in Yud Gimel, Shapir Ka Amrele the Rabbi Yehuda. The Rabbanar is saying good to Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda, Amr Lecha Lemisa Dechad Chayshin, Lemisa the Tarti Lo Chayshinan. That we're worried about one wife dying, but not worried about 2 wives dying. Rabbanan Ikal Lemecha Shafil Lemisa the Train Chayshinan. The Rabbanar say, if you're worried about one wife dying, you have to worry about 2 wives dying. Now, it comes out according to Rabbi Yehuda that he's worried for a miyut she'ena matzoi, that his wife might die. Now, it's a little strange why he would say that you're not worried that 2 wives might die, because just like one wife dying is a miyut she'ena matzoi, so a second wife dying also would be a miyut she'ena matzoi. It's very unlikely to say that one wife dying is a miyut she'ena matzoi, but the second wife dying is a vadai that she's not going to die. It's still a miyut she'ena matzoi. There's nothing lower than a miyut she'ena matzoi except the vadai that she won't die. So that would be a question on Rabbi Yehuda. Now the second problem over here with this Gemara and this Mishnah is the shita of the Rabbanan. And the shita of the Rabbanan say that you set aside another Kohen because he might become tamei, and that's considered miyut at shchiach. The Rabbanan instituted Rechoshin Lemiyuta over here, and you have to set up another Kohen for him if he becomes Tameh. The Mishnah says the difference is because the reason we're not concerned about setting up another wife for him is because Im Kain Ein Ladavar Sof. If we're worried about his wife dying, there'll be no end to this thing. Now, it's very clear on Daf Yud Gimel, we saw the reason the Rabbanan say that we're not worried about setting up another wife for him is not because Im Kain Ein Ladavar Sof, rather because Misa Lo Shchicha. Misa, it says clearly in the Gemara, Rabbanan say that death is not something which is shchiach. We're only choshesh for a miyut that's matzoi, but a miyut she'eno matzoi, we're not choshesh for. So why the Rabbanan say a different reason in the Mishnah, Im Kain Ein Ladavar Sof? It sounds like really we should be concerned, but we can't make another rabbinical institution to make another wife because we'll have to set up 1,000,000 wives for him. There'll be no end to the thing. But really the reason is just say simply is that, like the Gemara says in Yud Gimel, that it's lo shchicha, so we're not concerned. The third question over here is on this pasuk that the Mishnah brings. V'chibra ba'ado v'ad beso. Beso zu ishto. Now the Torah says that the Kohen brings a parachatas on Yom Kippur for him and his household. The simple question is on the pasuk: why does he need to say v'chiper ba'adov ad beso if it's coming to include that it should be kapara for him and for his household, his wife and his family, presumably also? Just say v'chiper ba'ad beso. He's included in his house. The husband is part of the household also. Why does it say ba'adov ad beso? In order to answer all these questions, I like to suggest a different shot in the Mishnah over here, different than Rashi. Rashi says, Im kain ein ladavar sov. Rashi says, Im kain dechayish lemisa ein ladavar sov. Shema gamzu tamus. It sounds like the simple explanation of reading the Mishnah. Ein ladavar sov. We're worried about one dying, we're worried about two dying. But as we mentioned before, it's a problem because the Gemara says the reason the Rabbanan are not worried is because it's not shchiach. It's not common for even one wife to die. We're not choshesh for misa. So I want to say that it's a way of interpreting the pasuk. V'chiper ba'ado ba'ad beso. That according to Rabbi Yehuda, he learns v'chiper ba'ado ba'ad beso, beso zu ishto, tell you that each person in the household, and for sure the wife, has to have a kapara. Every person has to have a kapara, not just part of the household, but everyone in the household has to have a kapara. So that's why beso zu ishto. Therefore, we're worried that his wife might die, and he won't have kapara. And when the Rabbanan say Amru lo im kain ein ladavar sof, they know already that we're not worried about misa, but they would be worried technically about someone in the family becoming tamei or someone becoming dying. That would be a meirah shchiach. So what they're saying over here is they're arguing on the pshat and the pasuk. V'chiper ba'adov ad beso zu ishto. It doesn't mean to say that everyone in the household has to have a kapara. It means that some of the household has to have a kapara. V'chiper ba'adov ad beso. Amrulo im kain ein ladavar sof. If that's the pshat and the pasuk that everyone needs kapara, there's no way of fixing it, because you're going to have to set up the rest of his family, his wife, the rest of his family. Someone will become tamei, someone might die. That's a meirah shchiach. Must be that the pshat and the pasuk is different. The pshat and the pasuk, v'chiper ba'adov ad beso, teaches me that only part of his household has to have a kapara, not his whole household. And with that, we could use it to answer our original question: why Rabbi Yehuda he's choshesh lemisa, but he wouldn't be choshesh for two women dying. The reason not choshesh for two women dying is because he learns the pasuk as part of his drasha uva'ad beso. Why does it say uva'ad beso? Why does it specify his wife? To tell you in the singular that we're only worried for one wife dying, not two wives dying.